Happy Hump Day, traders. It is Matt and Jacey with Empire Algorithmic Trading here to bring you your daily dose of Vwapvision's Stock Talk.
It's where we use the volume weighted average price as our guide to the market. So sit back and enjoy. It's time for a little stock talk.
Stock Talk!
Well, happy Wednesday, Matt. It was a
Yes,
nice,
sir.
quiet, easy day. Yeah, how was it for you, buddy?
I can't complain. Same thing. Kind of a quiet, easy day and ready to break this down and put some trades in. So let's go.
Yeah, it was Fed day. I don't think the Fed, you know what? I haven't read a headline. I haven't read any. I just decided just to check out the market. So I don't even know
Yep.
what the Fed did. I'm sure they didn't do anything crazy because the market was relatively subdued. It's actually a pretty good thing. Interest rates fell off a little bit with bonds rallying up. That's where we're starting today is bonds. Again, we're seeing the IEF hold support here at this VWAP, at the VWAP from the low. It's an important price level to watch. So it's really nice to see bonds find a little support there. The S&P 500 as well rallied up just a touch, up 0.4%. Finding apparently a little bit of support right there at the VWAP. Clearly, the Nasdaq found support at its downtrends VWAP, so that's a positive sign. Up a little less than 0.3%. The small caps were up about 0.3%,
Hey.
and the mid caps. Now the mid caps are starting to live above their resistance. So now their ultimate resistance is the all-time high VWAP, which is sitting at about 550. So I think we're at 532 on the mid cap index tracking fund. So we're still we got a pretty good amount of room, about 18 points, which is probably what, about 30, no, it's about, what is it, about 3%? No, not that much. Yeah, about 3%. So we need a little bit of a rally going on into the mid caps to get us into, but the S&P is the leading index of all of them, right? And so I was thinking about it the other day about how amazing it is that the S&P is just the leader. I mean, it's just the Nasdaq was the big dog forever because it's cap weighted. And a lot of the big growth stocks were there, but when push comes to shove, the S&P is the S&P for a reason, right? And so it's interesting that it's living above its VWAP when everything else is still kind of hanging out underneath it. So, as always, whenever the stocks are up, the VIX came down a little bit. So we want to continue to see that. It's still
Yep.
elevated. There's healthy skepticism. Now we haven't seen a large spike in the put call ratio. That usually is back towards major bottoms. But the fact that the VIX is still elevated and the market really hasn't given up any ground after that nice strong rally, it's just building confidence in it. And so we should expect, especially if stocks continue to just hang out around the VWAP, we'll expect to see that VIX come down to a more manageable level. We did have some interesting moves today.
Oh,
Halozyme, some of the biologics, some of the biotechs from yesterday that held up rather strong, held up rather well, rebounded nicely. Halozyme must have had a great earnings report. It was up 18% today. It's not in any particular setup or any buy area, but it was just interesting to see after yesterday's biotech slaughter that Halozyme just absolutely blasted out of its little trading range there. And then the
yeah.
two stocks that we talked about yesterday that were the strongest, they rebounded quite nicely. ADMA is still holding its really nice tight flag pattern there. And then Anlim, but it's ALNY, excuse me. It was really tight yesterday, and it followed through up 2.5%. So pretty interesting recoveries there. Hims, yesterday's big breakout had a really strong follow through,
Wow.
up over 5%. So that's a lesson. Even though it looks like it's extended, the best stocks just continue to go. They don't give you an opportunity to get back in. So Hims up another 5% on that. Paymentus, again, another new high after its breakout. Same thing with same thing with Dave, my new worst enemy.
Okay.
Nvidia is approaching.
Fine.
Semiconductor stocks had a pretty good day. And so it's really nice to see. I think that's going to be important for those, to the semis. Whenever semis are in the market, it's usually a good sign. So, and that's been going back since the 90s. So you got to pay attention to the semis. So it's nice to see Nvidia approaching its overhead resistance. Monolithic power. We talked about this, I think a couple of weeks ago about how it was setting up kind of well in this area here back in February, and then it got pushed down with the market, and then it's coming back right back to where the VWAP is. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And then same thing with KLA 10 Core. Those are three stocks on the watch list that are setting up well. Rubric, a breakout from last week. It was our free stock as well. It rallied up another 2.1% today for a new high after its breakout. And then Credo, this one is setting up tight. We've talked about this one a couple of times, so we're going to watch this one for a nice move above its breakout, or above its VWAP, I should say. And then APH, the reason why I bring this up is when you kind of turn back the clock a little bit, this breakout, it's a little choppy. Looks a lot extended, right? It looks like it's way out of any range or anything, but the stock just keeps going. So sometimes it's uncomfortable buying those trades. It's uncomfortable going into those positions. But when the market's moving, these type of trades do work. So just keep an eye on that. I personally probably, even knowing this, I probably wouldn't buy it. It's just not I have certain stocks that I have certain views that I just like. But I just, in case you're a little bit riskier or a little bit more aggressive than I am, don't be afraid of some of these big gap ups that just don't give up any ground. When they start breaking out of that, that's usually a really good sign. So just wanted to use that as a point of reference for everybody else. But in the meantime, the S&P is holding up well. The dreaded correction that I was worried about, that everybody kind of said yesterday and the day before, oh, the correction's starting, we're getting the pullback. Just really hasn't fully materialized. Earnings have been kind of hit or miss, right? Some stocks have gotten hit quite hard. Other stocks have been rather rewarded, and that is very typical of earnings season. So nothing out of the norm. This is just your typical. The green zone hasn't done much, but after such a significant move and in the middle of a potential bear market, and I still say potential on the S&P because we never hit 20% below on the closing for the S&P. So we might be in that very small 12% of corrections that close between 17 and 20% and never hit that 20% threshold. So what we want to see are just continued breakouts, continuing to work. And if not, just hold, right? Just maintain their tight, because a lot of these are still pretty deep in their base, right? Like Monday, for example, it was a breakout last week. Pretty much right before the green zone. But it hasn't, when they fail, right? And this one is just setting up again. It's still, like I said, pretty deep in its base still. But the fact that it's holding above the VWAPs is a very bullish sign. And plus you have kind of a higher low here, right? Yeah, I think it's 262.33 and then 266. And then you have the lower highs. And that's just your classic wedge. That's a pretty good looking potential setup there. So that's what we're seeing across the board, and that's exactly what you want to see for the next move higher. So all in all, the confidence is getting raised pretty much every day. Keep watching for Arrow Review. The breakouts are starting to show up a little bit more consistently, and so we're actually getting to see some action and look at some charts. It's kind of fun. But in the meantime, Matt, it's just your typical ho-hum quiet Wednesday. Happy Fed Day.
That's okay to have those ho-hum quiet days as well. But yeah, that does bring us to the end of our stock talk. So make sure you are liking and subscribing for those of you either listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube. Follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. Check out more about who we are and what we do at Vwapvision.com. That's VWAPvision.com. And subscribe over on Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. That gives you access to our entire catalog of our stock talks. But also, if you subscribe to the paid level, you get access to our daily algorithmic buy and sell signals. Also some fun educational videos about how we use the information that we get from this algorithm in our own trading strategies. But you also can get access to the community, and we're working on building that up. So get in there, throw us some ideas, tell us what you want to hear. We love interacting with you. That being said, Jace, happy trading.
Happy trading, Matt, and we'll see you tomorrow, buddy. Actually, no. We'll do arrow
Arrow
review. That's
review.
fine. And then I'll see you tomorrow. All right, my man. See
Yes,
ya.
sir. Bye, buddy.